All right. Hi, everyone. Here again with Tom Althouse. And this is part five of our interview series. And it's been a little over a month again. And a lot of stuff has been popping up with, um, I guess, coded messages and in certain TV shows that we'll talk about later. Um, Man in the High Castle being one of them. And yeah, just a few other things that have been going on behind the scenes with Tom's work and the documentary, and that's what we're gonna catch up on today, just to see how things are going. And looks like you're doing well, and glad to have you here again, Tom. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and dive into all this stuff together. But yeah, how's your past month been for the most part?
Yeah. No, I appreciate being here, first of all, the good stuff. It's like this is really, really great to be on your show. And there's a lot happening. In fact, just before your show, if you can hear it in my sinuses, the community is experiencing an outbreak again. And what we have is footage of the planes flying very low and they're spraying. So we're capturing footage of spraying like you're crop dusting the community. So it goes spraying, spraying. The first effects immediately is red burning eyes and then burning nasal passages. Then what follows is what you're starting to hear on me. You get the puffiness that you can see and the upper respiratory congestion. It's almost like you have trouble swallowing. You breathe and you feel like you're not getting air. And you also run into the dull headache. And so what I did was I posted on Twitter, Steve, the footage, some of the footage of the things going by. Now the trolls will say that's CGI or something. I'm like, seriously, this is like clearly just shot, right off the camera. Good luck with that when it's time stamped everything. But that's their thing, like weather balloon. But it got like 1,000 hearts, and it just somehow they forgot to shadow ban me on this one. And so it has like 894 retweets, and people are in the community, even in Baytown, Texas. Here, you've got people on Twitter that are responding, going, yes, ER, yes, mask mandate coming back, yes, we've got the symptoms, and they'll talk about the very thing I'm talking about, upper respiratory especially. So we found the perfect delivery system of targeting whatever you want to have things happen. I'm very careful what I'm saying right now, so I don't get you, in trouble there. So it's like, but it's interesting that we live in a state where we can't say certain things. I mean, when I was a kid studying about World War II Germany, I was like, oh, that's so sad. Their intellectuals are hauled off. Happening now. You're not allowed to say stuff called misinformation, or you're an enemy of the state. It's like, what? Here we are, living history, the loop. It's like, and so it's like Goebbels came to town. And now it's the same stuff, the trolls, the timing, the stuff that happened in the case where you see like even what the attorneys are doing when they're supplied, unlicensed, throwing the cases and the paperwork I've been researching just recently. And you see what's effects being done on the communities and what they're shouted down and shut down by people with less IQs than the ones that are bringing forward information. And it's just, we're back in time. We are back in a time capsule, and what's interesting is the recordings will show you the sounds. There's a signature sound to the planes that are flowing under the radar, basically just buzzing the roofs. And they sound like this, like you're at Pearl Harbor. So it's just
Wow.
this sound that stays with you. And all
They're
across the
they're
world,
flying pretty low too.
very low,
Wow.
very low. In fact, do you have share screen?
Yeah, yeah. Let me get that started here.
Let's just show you an example. And yeah, let me see if I can find the COVID. Yeah. Okay, so this is the perfect. Now, keep in mind, they will use the perfect delivery system, whatever works best for them economically, efficiently, and they try to snuff away and say, well, nothing to see here. Late at night, under the radar, yeah. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll show you the clip.
Yeah, go for it. It should work.
All right, share screen. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
No, I cannot.
Not yet. Okay, let's go to it again. Oh, it says disabled on your part. You'll need to enable screen. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Yeah, try it
Enable.
now.
Okay. Going to share screen. You're looking good. All right. Here we go. Ready? Here's the first
Yep.
one. Let's take a look at what they do. Listen to the sound. See the spray? Watch
Yeah,
the
the sound didn't get picked up. Yeah, try to play that again.
I'll play it 2 more times. Watch
Okay.
the trail. Watch the trail in the back of the plane. Just right over our roof.
Just a short little burst too.
Yeah, watch it. Watch it go. This is in winter. Not mosquitoes. Another clip. Watch this one. This is the same night. Here we go. Sounds like Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
Let's do it one more time. One more time. Now,
There.
instantly,
Yeah, we heard it there. Yeah.
yes. Instantly, what happens is, I'm trying to get you back here. Where did I lose you? Okay, stop sharing. Okay, so instantly what happens is red burning eyes. Your eyes start burning and they look red, like you have pink eye.
Yeah. How long does it take for all that to onset? From
Onset,
what?
the red eyes, the nasal passages is 1 to 2 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and you feel like, you ever been to Busch Gardens? We have like the mist machines where there's like a mist. You feel a light tingling mist after they go over. So what's interesting is now, because I did the Twitter account thing where it went to, we're almost to 1,000 retweets. That even reached the community then, right? Which is pretty amazing. It's marvelous to do something where the whole world is tapping in, basically. That's a lot of retweets, a lot of coverage. And so what happens is Baytown, Texas itself, residents are contacting on the Twitter. They're saying they're going through the same symptoms too. So it's like it can be mapped out easily now where you have the perfect delivery system. And then, does it make sense? And then I thought, well, it'll be the latest strain. It is. They have a chart. Delta strain, then the next one. So they pick the latest variant to deliver perfectly with the perfect delivery system right to your door. And it's crop dusting like North by Northwest. That makes sense, doesn't it? The biggest problem in doing these kind of nefarious things is having a good delivery system, an effective one, that you can also cover up. Now, they can't call it weather balloons. People are now seeing it everywhere. We're connecting and talking about it. And you can hear it in my voice, I think. The upper respiratory is shot. This is, you're looking at day 3. All right. So next will be masks on, things like this. And so what you have is, we've caught them with their pants down. The footage is too clear. So they're just saying, CGI. Do you think that's CGI? Do I have the know-how to do what? Shop, things like that? That is raw footage right off of a phone. It's kind of hard to doctor it. That's a lot of effort. Don't have the time. But the thing is that people are responding and saying they have the same symptoms, the same stuff. So what follows the red eyes and nasal, and it's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, Steve. 1 to 2 minutes later, feeling the stuff. Then what happens is you get the upper respiratory where you feel like there's a lump in your throat. You're kind of swallowing a lot now. That's what it is. And you have trouble, like at night you'll breathe. You don't feel like you're getting oxygen. So you're breathing, but you don't feel like you're taking it in. It's the weirdest feeling where you sleep with your mouth open going, and you're not feeling like you're breathing.
So it's almost like a coating of the lungs.
Well
Of
said. Yeah.
whatever they're putting out there. And that looked a little different from some of the other spraying videos that I've seen, where they look like commercial aircraft and they're much higher. But this one looks like a low range plane, like you said, North by Northwest.
Yeah. It looks like
got the Red Baron out here just doing this.
Yeah, like Pearl Harbor. It looks like Pearl Harbor, and the same sound. It's the same. Like I said, it's like the Pearl Harbor soundtrack. Wow. So it's like, and you hear it. That sound becomes the alert, and so they'll spread it out. And what they do is interesting. There's a timetable you can follow easily. They'll do a 7-day spread. So they'll do like the one was September 1st, 2022. Then they did September 7th, 2022. So you get a booster on top of it. And it's incredible because it's like, right over the roof. And you're like hearing the house is shaking, you're right over the roof. And it brings kids outside. It brings you outside. You're like, what's going on? It sounds like an air raid. And you're easily exposed. Now, I take the footage, so I have to go expose myself. I go out and take the footage, and then, I know I'm getting sprayed, but I got to get this. I got to get this out. I got to let people know. And thank God, because the community now is alerted and people are responding from the community going, yes, this is happening. And they're saying, what can we do? Now, keep in mind, this is very effective for the agenda. And now we're hearing it's worldwide. So we have people contacting from Europe and England. Thank God they forgot to shadow ban this their Twitter.
You could look up the flight logs or request the aviation data for.
They won't give it to you.
They won't. Okay.
Great question. They're not going to, because this is covert. This is off the charts.
Yeah, it would probably be scrubbed off.
In normal world, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Because it does look like it's very specifically targeted. Because most of the time you see the thing spraying for a long period of time, but this one looked like it just did a spurt and then left. And how many people do you think they're trying to target? I mean, let's say they're trying to just target you, and they're trying to minimize how many people they get. How many people do you think they're spraying with this?
Great question. On the particular footage you just saw was the same night, same night. So direct pass, and they're doing for wind drift. So that burst you saw accounts for the wind drift. They're really doing the thorough job, and it's like that was done right before my son's birthday, September 14th. See, it takes about 7 to 10 days for the full effects of the spraying, and then what you have is the full onset of the severe symptoms, where the fatigue and you can't sleep. Like I didn't sleep last night. The full effect is happening, starting to happen already. It must have been quite a dose. And so it's like, you can see I look different. The face, the puffiness, the voice, you can hear the upper respiratory and things like this, and the eyes are burning.
Yeah, you look fatigued compared to the other times that we've talked. So yeah.
Yeah, and this is what people report, Steve. They report that they don't sleep. So it messes your sleep cycle, it messes your cognitive, everything. I went to I can't remember really. I went to a meeting the other day, and a dentist, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't form my thoughts. I was like, I'm here. Very effective, very effective. And the labs have come up with some good stuff that they feel they can use. And so reports are around the world now, coming from all the world, that they're spraying every basically country right now. That's a lot of manpower, a lot of resources, a lot of chemicals. They're spending a lot of money, which means there must be a reason. It's not an exercise. They would locale one place, but this is something that's covering a world right now. All the spraying, like the sky sprayings, are going on everywhere in intense fashion. My thought is it's a last go, last hurrah, because it's starting to be revealed now. And I think they're just bitter and doing a last splash. So that's what I'm hoping. I hope I'm right. But as far as individual targeting, yes, that September one seemed to be the individual targeting.
Do you think that's the goal, is to just lower your cognitive abilities?
Possibly, because I'm supposed to take a trip to Maui here to get crucial evidence. And so, again, this is about 7 days out from my trip. And so here I am. Can I pass through the airport if I'm sprayed? It's like, who knows? But this is a crucial trip. And it's just like when we got the full script from the Copyright Office, when the attorney that was bought, with the unlicensed, suspended license, unable to practice law, he was saying, brag that you will not find your full script. You'll find 8 pages of scribbled notes. And that's why I immediately jumped ahead and got the contact Copyright Office to give us the full script before they were handled. Yeah. Now I can't get a copy. They won't give me a copy. I paid for the full thing, the full pristine version we need for the documentary and the show. And they sent me the just loose pages. And I sent back a message, where is this? The one guy I contacted the Copyright Office said, well, they usually just refund it for you because it's our mistake. Talk to the Copyright Office copy center area of it, and copy records. Won't do it. Not going to do it. Talk to my supervisor, they're not going to give you anything. You have to reply again. Reply again, nothing done. So they're trying to shut down. The Copyright Office is working for studios.
Yeah, that's really strange. Why would they refund it instead of correcting it? If they had it.
They are supposed to. They didn't. They didn't refund it. They didn't correct it. Neither. When it came down to the people in charge. So here we have, see, I got the original copy, what wasn't 8-page script notes, the real thing, before they were switched stuff out. I got that because they weren't contacted yet. The attorney bragged it was going to be done. I jumped on it, got it without telling anybody I was doing it. And then they were contacted. And now you see the results of being contacted.
So with the Copyright Office, they're supposed to have your script there.
Yeah.
If they can't produce a copy of your script that you already have, what are the ramifications for the Copyright Office?
They think they can get away with it. Same with a clinician that was bought and turned everything around with a handwritten thing where there was a diagnosis said totally good guy, you know, all this stuff. Turn it all around, handwritten stuff saying everything on a sudden bad. So what you have is the powers to be feel they can influence any office, any department, any group, any specialty, and they do. All they do is flash their FBI badge, and the people feel giddy. Get the right secretary. Oh, we're working for the FBI now. Oh, the FBI is interested in us. Oh my God, I'm somebody. That's kind of the response you get, and then inadvertently, often these people will send me a message and say, "Oh, the FBI was here the other day, and they were talking about you." Yeah, right. Well, that was stupid. And then they cut you off. They won't talk again. They won't answer a question, just like the Copyright Office is doing now. So what you have is initial giddy response where they want to tell you, oh, they were talking to me, and then they shut down because the rule is not to speak to the target. So see how we get to reveal it all. We get to reveal it all. And as a writer worth of salt, I'm going to do my job, you know, even though the threats are there and the offers are there to come back on board, to come home. That's why Bob Iger's returned to Disney unannounced. So yeah, so we have the full picture here. We can lay the full game board out. It's like you bought something at the thrift store, like Monopoly, and all the pieces are there. We have all the pieces, you know. So the more they do this stuff, it doesn't work in their behalf. They're not very smart because I already have the copy. That's the gold seal stamped. No, now the trolls are trying to say, just like they say, oh, it's CGI, whatever. Now they're trying to say that it's a forged script with the gold seal and the bolts and the blue ribbon and the testimony of the signed signatures. Wow. So next they'll say our children are forged copies. You know, think of it. And people are starting to actually start to talk that way. They're actually starting to talk like, oh, well, you're cloned. What? No, I don't have the extra dot under my eyelid. So it's like they're just totally making the public fight themselves. Right?
Yeah.
By having trolls lead the way to do that. And so your intellectuals are being shouted down by the people they're trying to save. It's very clever. And then the insiders at these, like the CIA, FBI, like the people I've named in the past that were the Masons and such, that were also operatives, they brag about this. They brag about the public, not all, but the public believing whatever they tell them, like the pancake theory. They brag about that. They said, we can't believe the public bought this. And then you got the public turning on each other with their stupid little opinions, fighting each other. If they just listened to those of us that were groomed on the inside, that know the answers, that have suffered all the effects, if our sons have been killed, chances are we're telling you the truth. Because the other side won't kill your sons if you're with them. Right? They're going to happen. But if they do kill your sons, now what are they doing? Just like they're saying about the Copyright Office and these things flying over, they're saying that my sons never existed. Do you see how ludicrous their claims are? So it's almost like saying a person's wiping their butt. That's not their butt. I'm serious. What? Really?
Yeah.
Seriously? And the people are actually responding, going, oh, maybe it's not. It's really, we are the most insane time in history. Most insane, idiotic time in history. Where these things, remember, like we're talking about the cognitive being affected. When they do the mass sprayings, yes, it's going to affect. It's like that movie Saving Nemo, whatever it is, Nemo, and it's like they're all in the net, and the fish aren't swimming the right way, and they're
Finding Nemo.
Yeah, like swim down, swim down. That's where we are right now. Swim down, swim down, and it's also like idiosyncrasy, where the people's response is, well, what they're saying has electrolytes. It's got electrolytes. And they feel intelligent. It's time to stop boasting. It's time to actually look at the problem. The house is on fire. The door is there. Don't debate where the door is. Let's go out. I'll tell you, Steve, it's like working with sheep. And it's just, sometimes the other side's using this point, like I think I said before, the argument of the other side when they're courting me is, who are you trying to save, Tom? Why are you doing this? Take care of yourself and your last remaining son. Take the offer. Why are you trying to save the public? They're working against you. They believe anything we tell them. They'll believe that their blood is purple with blue polka dots if we tell them. They'll believe it and they'll argue in your face that it is and ridicule you. So come to our side. And what's interesting, Steve, is they say that they know I wrote the material. They'll say it during breaks. They'll call and say, yeah, you wrote it. We know you wrote it. It's common knowledge throughout the industry. You wrote it. And I'm dealing with a public sometimes that is debating that. So they use that as an argument for those of us that are actually trying to make a difference to come over to the other side. If they miss taking us out, they'll invite us back in with great perks and rewards. See? Because they're saying, the public doesn't think you wrote it. We know you did. Come on home. And I'll tell you, it's tempting. It's tempting. It's like trying to save people from a burning building again, using that image. And they're kicking, screaming, biting, fighting you, accusing you, and attacking and killing your loved ones. They're not going to let you. What do you do in the end? Stay in the building. Stay in the building. Me and my son are going out. You burn. I'm tired of trying to rescue you and losing loved ones by trying to rescue you. See the logic? It works. It works. I am this close to closing the door and saying, adios, world. You're on fire. I have tried. I have tried. So that's how close I am. So the spraying actually works on your decision making. See, with me feeling this way right now and the frustration of the cognitive effect, it's very easy for me to go, oh, just close the door. Don't try to save him. Instead of Hodar, it's, goodbye, Dar. That's where I'm at. My very nature, my very core does not allow that. But I'll tell you, it's tempting. It's tempting to look at all those emails and all those phone calls and all those posts on Facebook, Twitter, things like this, ridiculing, putting you down. After Wachowski's run the paper saying, no, nothing hack, want to hold the copyright. If you hold the evidence up and it's clear and the public still is debating, they're not worth it. I'm starting to feel that way.
I have not heard any counter argument going against what you are saying.
Well, then
in the entire time that we've been talking, I have not had anybody come forward and be like, this person, Tom, is lying. Here's the real truth. Have not had that happen.
Well, then God bless your whole constituent, your audience. God bless them all. I will hold the door open for them. And that's what it's coming down to, Steve. I'm going to hold the door for the smart ones.
Yeah, that's all we can do. I mean, I'm using YouTube right now, but YouTube doesn't like me.
Yeah.
I had a strike on a video. It happened on New Year's Eve. They tried to remove a video of a doctor talking about the jabby jab.
Yeah.
And I challenged it. I appealed the decision, and they took the strike away and apologized. I was very surprised by that.
You have a presence, and you are, I will tell you right
Thank
now,
you.
You have been, how do I say this? Selected by both sides, the good and the bad.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more like backlash on reaching out to you and like more sabotage. But it's been really weak for the big league people they are.
Yeah.
They could have been doing a lot more to me than what they are, but I'm not inviting them to. I wish they would just go away. But
well, we're in the chaff on the floor and the wheat and chaff. Right now we're on the picture of chaffing. It's winnowing the wheat. Because what they're doing is determining who is considered valuable assets. The public needs to know that. So your audience would be considered smart and intelligent. That's who they will allow to transference on. the people who do the mocking all the time, if they're not a troll or a shill on these other sides or other platforms, they're doing the wrong thing for themselves and their families, because by putting down the ones that are considered smart and considered assets, they're Xing themselves out and their loved ones out of the consideration for surviving by the cabal. The cabal wants the brightest and the best. See?
So what you're saying is they're still considering myself along with
Yes.
other intelligent people.
Yes. Your audience would
to,
be considered.
to
Yes.
tempt them to come over to their side.
Keep in
Basically.
mind, the cabal's operatives are contacting me. I take phone calls where they're saying, I'm an asset, the Golden Goose. We're fans of your work. So those that are working for the cabal to destroy us or harass and this are considered small, minuscule beings by the cabal. Not worth it. Just tools to be used and discarded. Where we are considered the golden egg. So that's what's interesting, is that people don't understand the setup out there. They don't understand the lay of the land. The documentary team is going to focus too on the strata. What are the strata of the different players? So you have, it's just like in the movie I wrote, and then what they did in the Matrix. What happens to the agents at the end? They're discarded. They're cut off, right? That's exactly what's going to happen to the shills and the trolls and those that speak badly. It's a test, basically, if you will. So those that are mocking what is clear evidence, they're writing a death sentence on themselves. They're making so that them and their loved ones will be cast away as discarded tools at the end, while we are brought in, if that's all that's left, or will make a difference. See, in a sense, either way, now we will win, and hopefully we will win for a better world. It's exactly the screenplay, and they're saying, the cabal saying, you're inside your own screenplay, and they understand that's my territory. So, Steve, congratulations to your audience. Congratulations. Yes, we're monitored. Yes, we're followed closely. Yes, they listen very closely to everything we say. You notice we haven't had one interruption. Not one interruption this entire program.
No, they're probably interested in listening in and forgetting their objective. Terminated.
In the end, all is forgiven. And so if you're smart, that's your survival ticket for you and your loved ones. If you show cognitive abilities, especially when you're sprayed, then you're considered an asset. So come what may, we've chosen the right path. We're trying to make a difference, and that is actually respected by the inside. They respect that we're trying to make a difference after everything that's been thrown at us. So in a sense, they're fans of their own work. They're fans of my work. They're fans of other authors that do well. They want to see us succeed at the base level. They do want that. It's like they say, we're in a movie. They put us in our own movie. So they want the ending that they've come to love. Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
What's the ending for them, do you think?
The ending for them, they believe, is that they're counting on that some of us, our natures, the reason that you and I are able to be allowed to be uninterrupted right now is because we're considered, the quote is, harmless. As far as our natures, we wouldn't hurt anybody. They know that. The shills are supposed to say egomaniac, dangerous, crazy, and deadly, like my sister is employed to do now, which is a complete 180 of what she was. But they know that. They'll come up and say, we know you're harmless. We know you're good. Yet our influence and the power of what we've written is critical and powerful and could be dangerous, the influence we have. So they're banking on our kind natures that we could be molded into doing what they ask, in the end. Because, so it's interesting that, I hope that makes sense. Nobody knows this out there. It's like nobody knows, because how many have been groomed in the inside to be at top positions? How many actually, not the ones that claim in the truth community, but actually have been groomed where you have a card from the FBI, please extend every courtesy, where you actually have written work copyrighted that's been accepted, you have accepted letters and everything else, acceptance letters and everything, proof. How many have written blockbusters that actually, I'm not bragging, I'm saying I want to lay this out. Therefore, wouldn't this party know? If they're fans of the work and they're telling me exactly what's going on, I will know. So they're looking to see who actually listens to Tom Althouse. That's not an ego trip for me. That's a chance for me to save people, to save family. It feels like Schindler's List, Steve. It feels like I'll be at the end going, I could have saved one more. I already feel that mad, right? But now I've edited my parameters. I want to save the smart people. I'm going to let go of those that are ignorant. I'm not going to try to save them. I have given up and I decide they're not worth it. But I'm going to save those that are smart, use critical thinking. So if that is the parties that are listening in,
Yeah.
I'm going to save you and your families. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that so, or to help open a bridge to that happening. But I'm not going to save the ignorant or those. As soon as somebody makes a negative comment, let them go.
Yep, I do that too. If it's too negative,
Yeah,
if it's just bashing, I delete the comment. It's my channel. So I
that's
mean,
right.
if they're not going to play nice, then
And
or at
that's
least offer constructive criticism. I mean, I can handle that too. And there's some weird comments about you that I might take down, but
going right
they're
now.
just saying, yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Here,
God! So yeah, they're going to
I'll
be paying
read.
attention
I'll
now.
read a few to you because I got a few
They're
of
going
them
to pay
up here.
attention now. See, now they're going to send people because now we're speaking exactly the core of what's going on. So those that say negative comments will actually be cut off by the cabal and me too. So they have good and bad saying adios, you burn.
So I don't know. Should we do a screen share here?
No, just read it. Just read
Okay.
saying goodbye to
So
because
this
I'm
this is one of the few negative ones, okay? But I left it up there. It's from 2 weeks
sure,
ago.
sure.
They say nonsense. This man is delusional or is acting or being paid to do this. He seems to have many common and easy to identify mental health problems. I wish
Oh,
him the best, but no one who could write would ever defend their work in an unstructured way. And I thought that was just I
that's
don't know. They tuned out listening. This was on
they
the
got
first
upset.
interview.
That's a hit and run. That's a
Yeah.
talking. See, delusional is their talking point. That's what you look for the flags. And so delusional is a talking point they use. It makes them feel smart. And then the thing of like they're now curbing it to almost sound more polite, right? Like one of the comments recently was, "You're funny." So they're laying down a little bit, laying off a little bit of the negative burn, attack to
Well,
try to sound.
they're basically saying that this like this whole story doesn't make sense, but it's because of the lies of the other side.
Right, right,
Because we've been conditioned into accepting these films into our culture, into our lexicon or whatever,
right.
where not like what we were saying in the last interview, the red pill moments that they talk about in politics. It comes from the Matrix,
That's
and
right.
that
That's right.
that
That's right.
comes from the Immortals.
That's right. Which predates it and has a copyright on it, where the Matrix doesn't. Exactly, Steve.
Yeah.
And what's interesting
So
is, yeah, look at the talking points involved in what was just said, and it's like a checklist their attorneys use. Delusional is a talking point, and also acting. Where does the acting come from? See, they use acting.
yeah, it's a very jam
Their
packed
attorneys say that, so they're going for anything.
thing
They're
to say.
doing peanut butter jelly and tomato sauce. They're layering on anything they can, hoping that one of those things will stick to the wall. That's what they're doing. And so all these talking points are layered in, which is acting. Who would, if someone's going to attack you with a comment, would they say, well, Steve's just an actor? Where would that come from?
Now, and also if it was somebody who had like 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, 400 video. This person has 15 subscribers, 2 videos, not even over 500 views, a whole bunch of shorts of somebody singing.
Right.
But like, there's some accounts that make negative comments that it's like 0 subscribers, no videos, no shorts, no playlists.
Exactly. You're right.
It's
Now,
just something like a placeholder, like just a troll account, basically.
well, what they've been doing recently, I'm glad you brought this up. I was thinking about that earlier today. This troll thing is important because that's how they're going to try to mislead the public to follow along. It's like trying to pull people away from the herd that are like going to safety and pull
Yeah.
strike away the weakest ones. And what they'll do is they'll make their own accounts and befriend their own accounts. See, and that's why you get 5 or so. So they'll have often create double accounts and then be subscribing to their own account. This is a common thing. Religious Right does this all the time too. So it's like they'll make it look like they have numbers, and even when they don't, when it comes down to it, a lot of them have none, 0. It's a hit and run. So that'd be worth just trashing because that one is just a hit and run. That's a hit and run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah. But I mean, that's the talking points right there. And I love the delusional card because it's like,
Yeah.
do I sound like I'm not articulate? This even after being sprayed, it's like I still think I'm making sense, and I'm still addressing your questions and holding up evidence. So
Yeah.
they're on their last string.
You really have not sidestepped anything we've talked about. I feel you've been very genuine with everything we've brought up, and even when we get into detail about things, I mean, it's after a while the lies trip you up if
Yeah.
you're lying.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. That's
And
why
I don't see that here with us. So
right, right.
I
Well,
do have
that's
a few other comments that I want to share with you because there's some stuff that I actually don't know about, and I want to run it by you.
right. And always feel go to do a redo or a recap on something or a readdress where we can address something that didn't look like it was covered completely.
Oh yeah, yeah,
One of
yeah.
their things too is like he uses a script. He uses a script. That's why I love having live questions because there's no way you have a script in hand at all for live questions. And
Yeah,
it's
we
like
have
like shuffling through things. So yeah,
this is a general outline that we agree on before we come on here, and then
it's go.
I'm just shooting the questions as we go.
Sure thing.
It's very there's a nice flow to it. It's
I like
very
it.
organic. So
Conversational. Yeah.
so this next comment is from our last interview from part 4.
Okay.
This person says, thanks for sharing this with us, guys. Merry Christmas. Hope to see that documentary. I saw a Liberty University documentary, you, Thomas, called Liberty out before the documentary or news about Falwell Jr. hit. Now, I'm not completely sure what that's referencing to.
Well, there was an article. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, and thank you to the party that wrote that if they're listening in. It means a lot. I mean, one of the big things when you're risking your son's life by doing this, which is made clear by the cabal, you know, my son is at risk because of me speaking. They made that clear. They say that they know I'm concerned for my last son's safety. It's like they speak as if they're in a movie, and they foreshadow things on purpose. It's almost like they have a rule to do it, in a sense, like they have to put their hand forward before they make their move. In performance, you show your weapon on stage, your stagecraft weapon, before you use it. You always show the audience first. It's like they're speaking from a film mentality of operation, you know, protocol. And so what happens is this idea that by speaking, I put him at risk, and they're accusing me of that too. So this is not something I'm doing for kicks or to get popular. In fact, I'm looking forward, as I said before, of a gated community at the end where I don't have to work with the general public. I just meet with people like intellectuals like your audience. You know, I enjoy having them over for tea, but not people who are going to talk about their cat is connecting to Satan. So yeah, or you know, whatever. Anyway, the things people come up with. So yeah, but the question as far as what was it again? Because my cognitive is affected right now. What was the question one more time? Oh, Jerry Falwell.
Yeah, Falwell Jr.
Yeah.
and the Liberty documentary.
I was speaking about what happened to me, which it's all started from, was back with Pat Robertson's Religious Right, and I was being groomed to be the face of the Christian Coalition. I was taken on a trip by Dr. Harry Sova, sister being called doctor, and was informed about the sex ring and everything. So I informed that he is now at Liberty University. The sex ring transferred there too, besides at Robertson's organization. And so watch for it at Liberty University. And then out came Jerry Falwell Jr. admitting what he admitted. And he actually had the audacity to say that that's following what I was talking about on the air. And so then he says something along the lines of that he's actually one of the good ones because the people who aren't caught are more maniacal and sneaky, basically. Bad paraphrasing. So he's trying to make the point that since he's caught, he's one of the good guys because the other ones that are not caught are actually better at deception. That's an interesting argument when you're caught. But there you go, Jerry Falwell with Dr. Harry Sova there, and personnel from Robert's organization involved in that sex ring are all lined up in the communication department. So right, I was calling it out, and I appreciate the comment that was a very astute viewer to make the whole connection.
What's awesome. All right, so I have a few more that I wanted to bring to your attention.
This is good. This is good.
The next commenter says, "Much love to both you, Tom and Steven, always following along with you and spreading the truth about the Immortals slash Matrix. I hate deception and it brings me energy to fight for truth. I can't wait to see the world turn their eyes to reality and stare long and deep into the ones who lied."
Good,
And
good. I
that
like that.
really
Oh,
hits.
that's a heart. That's the moment. See, this is what's
Yeah.
going to bring people together. It besides the evidence that people have across the world that has survived, it's going to be the heart. It really is going to be the heart, and that is the final message in the screenplay, which the Wachowskis stripped away. They didn't want that in there.
And
Anyway,
there's
yeah.
people sitting down and watching all of these interviews through to the very end. So that's a great sign too. Because I mean, we go on for hours, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
if people love to listen to us go and talk about all this, I mean, why not? I'm glad it's keeping the attention of those who are interested. So
well, I think they see the heart and it's matching up what they see in themselves. It's about the heart. And that's what I say over and over. It's like what's interesting is when you actually care and do a service oriented involvement with your work, with the community, things like that, when you actually look at it as I want to serve humanity, then people can see that. They can see it on us. If I or you was like the Wachowskis, if we were out for ourselves or like that accusation, delusional, whatever, we would make sure that we would have a certain look and there'd be a lot of makeup. There'd be like, we would actually be concerned about our image and things like this. But if I'm appearing to you like this right now, I look like I just used a box of Kleenexes. So it's like, we're
yeah,
about truth out, get evidence out, make a difference. And like I said, I have a caveat to it now where I've changed it to for those that, well, I would use the words matter now to me, which are the smart ones. They really are. Why would I be saving those that make comments about delusional? No, bye bye. But those that listen in that actually have a heart and get it, you're worth saving. You really are worth saving. And I'll fight for you and your family. I will. I'll finish this. And my son is the one that said, keep going, Dad. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. He even said, like I said, if anything happens to me, keep going. There's a heart. There's a real young man who saw his two brothers killed. And he's going forward saying, keep going. Yeah. So I
and
appreciate this. I appreciate
no, it's great that you have that support system too, because
it.
it's I mean, to be in your shoes, I can't even start to imagine it
You
with
don't want,
everything. Yeah, I don't want to,
no, nobody should want to be in my shoes.
but
No.
it's no, it's good that you're able to firstly talk about all this publicly, but that also that you have the support system around you that they tried to take away from you too. By the way,
Yes. And
I
they
mean,
succeed often and many, many times. It's like, you're my only interview this month besides one other where I'm doing an interview with Sheila Walsh or Megan Walsh.
oh wow,
Like, yeah, so it's like you're the only two. So it's the intellectual ones, right? All the others are gone. They're all gone. Where my months before were so loaded, it was hard to find a time slot. Like sometimes 4 and 5 interviews a week. So what's going on is they have been heavy duty. Besides spraying, they've been contacting people heavily. So
all
I
like
also
telling them to not interview
don't
you
use, yeah,
anymore.
delusional, da 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 da.
Yeah,
So that's the thing. So what's interesting is that as long as I have people to fight for, I'll do this. This certainly isn't about image making. You know, it's about trying to get the job done. And
yeah,
so
and
that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Especially with shadow banning. Why would I do these shows if we're being shadow banned so heavily?
yeah,
That's when the people go throw up their arms and go, it's not worth it. I only have so many views. Yeah,
and
no, that's not us. We're about 10 people reached with the truth. That can make a difference.
that first interview we did is, I think, around 1,500 views now. And I mean, that's pretty good for overall for the channel.
That's really good, especially with shadow banning too going on. So what I'm
Uh,
saying, they see something in you. They see something in you. And I see it too. I used to cast movies and cast shows. And I see you as, you've got this is very important for people to understand. If you have how do I say it? Like a charismatic layered presence where when
mhm.
people look at you, they see layers to you, layers of feeling, layers of intellect. That is of interest to this new world forming, those involved. They do not want boring, one-layered, one-level people. And comments like the one where the delusional was implied shows a one-layered crony who's just hired to do a job, or if he actually is saying these things, miraculously he had all these different talking points that would be layered in.
Well,
So,
yeah, and with them using their first word and I guess sentence too, because they put a period after it, is nonsense, which
right.
only tells me that the material's not making sense to them,
Mm-hmm.
and it most likely is because of cognitive dissonance, which is they are now presented with two opposing ideas, and they have to make the choice of, gee, do I believe the Wachowski brothers or do I believe Tom Althouse? And
Right. I get you. And one of the answers, one of the questions would be, or questions back is, nonsense. You go, which part? Which part?
yeah,
That they don't address that. They hit and run these things. And so what's
and
interesting
I
is,
don't engage with it either.
no, of course not. Of course not. The best thing is just to go brush it away. It's a waste of time. It's a tactic. And because it's becoming harder and harder for the shills to make their move. That's why they're also starting to sound like they're playing nice. Now, notice they said they're concerned or something along that line. That's the new wave of insult now, where they don't want to appear like idiots now. So what they do is they'll act like they're being kind and benevolent. That's supposed to make audiences go, oh, they actually care. And so a lot of the people involved in trying to sidetrack all this now are acting like, like my brother who's bought with Disney. The only contracts he gets, like I said, is Sheraton and Disney. They're throwing him a bone. Bob Iger throws him a bone or whatever down there. And so what's interesting is he'll say, I want my brother back. I love my brother. After doing everything to trash and destroy our lives, he'll say that, and that's to make him look good publicly. See, it's like to protect his image a little bit. I actually care. No, you don't. Yeah, it's been made evident every time we see you, snarling and everything else. So, yeah. So that's the latest thing, like that comment that just appeared on the flyovers was, you're funny. It can be taken different ways and things like this. And that's the best they can do now is safe negative responses, see, that make them look
yeah,
like they're actually good people.
and they're trying. I mean, I've also noticed they try to break down self confidence.
Yeah.
They try to effeminate men. So they try to make they try to take the masculinity away as almost an insult, like you're not man enough,
Mm-hmm.
or something else like that. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of that. I've also dealt with a lot of that, and yeah, it's it's like you got to put up a wall around you just to
I
like
know,
block
I know.
all these people out of here.
Well, that's the
But
thing. When it comes down to it, it's evidence and keeping our character intact through
yeah,
it all. So it's slings and arrows, like Shakespeare said. Slings and arrows, and it's like you keep yourself intact through it, and you have the right idea. It's right. You just if it's just obviously a hit and run, remove it, and then they lost their whole thing they're being asked to do. They've lost their potency because it doesn't need to stay there. It's a distraction. It's like a mosquito biting. Just get it off the neck, and we'll move on to make differences. Yeah, remove their tactic. Yeah.
I have actually, yeah, one more user comment, but
Okay.
they split it up into two comments.
Okay.
But I mean, the same thing. It's I think because they were watching it and they made comments as they went.
Sure.
They said, I like how the interviewer is humane and compassionate in his interview. I saw an interview of this guy by Open Your Reality, and the interviewer seemed to alternate from fearful to cold indifference. If you work as an official journalist, yes, be detached, but if you have someone on as a guest on your YouTube channel, then show some connection, in my opinion. And then he
Nice.
further went on to say, I believe every word of this. Go up against the system, and for any reason, and you will be crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Justice is selective, and laws are bought.
Mm-hmm.
It's all meant to crush us. This guy's story has the ring of truth.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you, Steve, for reading that. And thank you for the person who did that comment if they're listening. It's like, what's interesting is, think of it this way. Let's flip it. What would Hollywood do with you or I when if they brought us in and did the PR makeover, you know? And so what you hear is that, and I've been told this by the inside, they say that basically it's a gold mine. They're saying that there's so much they could say, and they give you snippets of what they would do to lift you. I'm actually told they would put me on billboards. They like the look, they like the sound, they like what I stand for, they like the integrity, they know that I'm always going to come through.
And they wanted you to run for president too, right?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Did
And
they
so,
give you a year of when they wanted you to run, or
right
was that
when the case was being thrown, see, they were flipping where if I survived it, they would use that. If I didn't survive it, they would pull back and squash completely. So it's that moment where, you might just succeed. You figured out the attorney is false. You're getting rid of them. And that's why, the key was that he went to summary judgment, allowed them to go after he's fired. After he's fired, and I have that further about allowing him to go to summary judgment. And that's how he put the knife in the coffin, through the coffin.
I think ultimately they're not happy with the fact that neither of us are able to be controlled by them.
Yes.
They want to be able to control our behaviors and reactions. They don't want us speaking out. And I guess they view us as troublemakers, because if they say don't say this or that, bet you I'm gonna go talk about that the whole time then.
That's
So I'm
exactly.
like, oh, that's what they don't want us talking about, then that's what we'll talk about.
The ranks are filled. You just said so many incredible things. The ranks are filled with those that passed the questions test, which is, you won't try to make a difference, right? You're going to just go along, and you have all this stuff coming to you. Your life is over as you know it. But Sophia Stewart said to me, insiders at the Masons, CIA operatives said to me, they all say the same thing. You're one of the elite now. Don't try to make a difference.
Are they still trying to send you the red letters? Did you get any new
No, they
ones?
stopped. Illuminati gave up. Yeah. And or the organizations through the Illuminati, they gave up. They stopped. They see that we're not to be bought. And I was very cordial with them.
You replied back to them?
I replied back. I always think of this opportunity, pseudo journalist myself, to find out a little more. Treat them nice, and they might just say something, and they do. So it's very interesting that you can play the players. They're not used to kindness. They're used to bragging in their circles about what they're doing to people and all this kind of stuff. And when you're kind to them, often they'll start what they're used to, their social familiarity methods, which is we'll start talking about what we do, get them comfortable. It's the same tactics the FBI uses. So you employ them back.
Even with Project Veritas, they get all these people in these big organizations to sit down and have like a lunch with them, and they just go and spill everything.
See, that's
and the person interviewing is like being very sincere in the way that they're asking questions, but they don't know, the other side doesn't know they're being recorded, but they're just spilling all this stuff out. And
it's almost like the image of, we're in the car, the FBI and the CIA are driving, the Pentagon's driving the car, and I'm slowly going like, here, let me just take that wheel. Let me just take that wheel. I was groomed to be a leader by them on the inside. I was taught how to do this. So is it not making sense that I would use what I was taught right back on them to try to take control of the wheel?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But what frustrates me a bit, like I said, is the people in the burning building I'm trying to save. They're the ones that are causing the most trouble. And I hear them bragging, like I said, the operatives brag that is what they do. They get them to work against those that are trying to help them and their families. That's where I'm just like, okay, the operatives, the Pentagon, yeah, okay, that's clever. That's clever. Because yeah, I've come to my end of that road. I'm not their fireman anymore, like I said. But the intellectual people, the people that are smart, yes, let's make a great world together. We're going to be able to do this. And again, the real edge we have is what? They're fans of the work. The cabals, operatives, everyone they send to me say the same thing. Tom, we're fans of the work. We're fascinated by your story. Right? What does that entail? What does that mean? That means I have a leg up on every person that's involved in my circle sent by the cabal. Unless they send brainless morons. And who do they hire to do their work? Sophia Stewart, who flunked out of basically USC. The Wachowskis, who failed at everything they did. Even they say their mom even said they failed at everything they did, just wanted to read comic books. They flunked out of school, failed their businesses, and failed as writers, they said in an article. So that's the ones they're sending you, those kind of people to deal with. When I dealt with Pat Robertson's security force, when they came out when I was trying to serve the papers to him, which I was told I could do, and a police officer actually took me on to do this back when, before the piece was written. They send these guys out with the earpieces that look at you like with sunglasses going, that have no cognitive functions. So ergo the birth of the Smiths and the robot-like agents. I drew right from real life. All the iconic imagery that's in the screenplay of the Immortals that precedes the Matrix with the copyrights on the Immortals, and keep in mind, Warner Brothers, Gene Laurentiis, who winded down the Wachowskis, copyrighted the Immortals title, not Matrix. All that stuff comes from real life events that I can spell out. The Wachowskis can't. They can't, and they don't even try. So I think in the end, back to that point, if Hollywood was to groom us, Steve, for reintroduction to the public, right? If we were going along those lines, they have made it clear that it would be an easy task. Easy task.
I have another question for you, and I'm going to present this in the most politically correct way possible.
Okay.
But we understand that there's freedom of religion in the United States, and it so happens that a lot of these institutions are ran by one particular religion, and it's not Christianity. And if they're running the show, so to speak, especially in Hollywood, why would they value people such as yourself and myself,
right,
which I assume both of us believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you think they're including you in their talent pool? And why do you think they believe they don't have anything better than what you've given them and what they hope to take from you down the line?
Such a great question. Our intellects, our ability to create, our talents, that's what they talk about. As far as religion, they see it as a tool to control the masses. So, and they are questioning whether I really believe what I believe. The same thing for being a straight man. They'll come up and question that, saying, how do you know you're not homosexual? How do you know you're not? So they question everything about all aspects about you. They view again through the microscope of what they themselves believe and adhere to. And so they put that on us as we could be re-educated and come on board once we see what they know. See? So it's a great question. Part of the process of coming on board would be they do it right away. They start telling you things and explaining things to you, and they feel that you become basically the grasshopper. Even though they recognize your intellect as super high, they want to harness it and put it, as you said, controlled into the right frame of mind from their aspect and viewpoint, and put you into an enlightened state where you are now understanding and you get to see the secrets and behind the curtain, and now you're part of them. So they believe that we would transform into what they would expect of us. They always believe they know what outcomes will be, what can be done, that all people have their price, that we will believe in the end once we see with our eyes wide shut.
What? So, with them putting all of these clues into their, I guess, copyright infringed works with film and television and now streaming, why do you think they're putting these messages in there, even if it's just to communicate with you? Do you,
Right. This is great.
Yeah. I guess I'll leave the question at that.
Well, you can part to it also, but let's take the part one. It's a stamp of ownership. So what they're doing is they're saying, and there may be other.
So like humiliation in a way.
Well, in a sense, they're saying we own you. They're saying we put, but it's like putting a brand on you, like Spartacus, like you are now the house of Batiatus or whatever his name is. You know, there's a B on your arm. So what they're doing is they're stamping you, owning you by, and it's sort of a mystical thing too. They say players say that, but as far as the high ups, they haven't said it's mystical, but players will allude to that. That it's kind of like there's certain rules where they have to put it in plain sight and announce it. So basically, this is the announcement. If you look at the subtext, this is our property. So here is the birthday. Here is the high school. Here's the dad's name. Now the Wachowskis didn't put it in the Matrix. Those entries with the high school and all that's in there as a stamp of this is our property. They put it in as a mocking of the author. The author was never supposed to see it in for a split second upside down. I would never have known if I wasn't contacted by the story department personnel that told me it's there. I would never have seen that. Split second in a film upside down? No, wouldn't catch it. And there it was. But as far as these things in Men in the High Castle, this is done post throwing, right, of the case. And so what they're doing is they're saying, this is our property, while they've been wooing and offering to come on board. See? So later they could say, we took Tom Althouse in. He gave up on the population. He came in and he's behaving himself is the phrase they use. So I'd be behaving myself in their terms. Robertson used those terms too. And that stamp would be there for all to see. Look, his name is in the films. He belongs to us. It's a weird thing to do. They also are showing which assets they want. Now they get the public, general public, not the smart ones, to use that as a dissociative discognate kind of mud puddle where they turn on each other and go, that's not, they wouldn't do that. No, or get them making noise with each other. It distracts the public. So it's effective for distracting them. And then it's supposed to point that I have some kind of ego. Well, I didn't make the graphics. You know, I didn't put them in there. So when you have the graphics I sent you in Man in the High Castle, it's interesting too, because they're trying to make it a safe platform where they say, you know, well, Philip K. Dick's novel, that's from Philip K. Dick's novel, Man in the High Castle. Well, Man in the High Castle, these entries have nothing to do with Philip K. Dick's novel. You used Philip K. Dick's novel as a bedrock to layer these things on. So you're using Philip K. Dick and you're using Tom Althouse both.
So I'm on imdb.com. I typed in The Man in the High Castle. It's been on it was on from 2015 to 2019, it looks like.
That's right as they threw the case. 2014 was when they threw it.
Yeah, so they must have been filming it in 14. So that sounds right. Like
it would be like a celebration thing. I'm glad you looked that up. It's a celebration of he lost everything. We own him.
All the episodes are there's 40 episodes. The last two are rated 9.3 and 9.0. So it's actually very high rated for a show. But there's something else I was going to get. Okay, so at the bottom of or in the middle of this page, it says more like this. And it shows me The Expanse, Altered Carbon, The Colony, and American Gods. So I don't know.
That's amazing because Altered Carbon and Expanse are directly from the work. I would love you to take a screenshot of that. I'd love to have a screenshot of that. That's useful. That's good investigating.
You know what? We're gonna just share my screen here. Let's see if that works.
If you can capture that, that'd be great. That's amazing. So, that's Joel Silver's work right there. Altered Carbon directly with a premise. The rich in the future have immortality. The poor is used as pawns. Was exactly my work. From Netflix, where they put the attorneys from Netflix in charge. So yeah, but Men in the High Castle, they went overboard. Like those imagery I sent you, isn't it amazing? The Linus, did we talk about that? Did we talk about
we have not talked about Men in the High Castle yet, but it seems like the right time to do it.
Yeah, this is perfect. Do you have the graphics to show on the screen? And I'll go over just how mind-blowing this is.
Yeah. Let me pull up all right, let me stop sharing for a minute and I'll pull up the email.
I can't tell you how refreshing it is to be on the program with you with a smart audience Oh my God. That is so nice.
And
If you
they're
guys,
here for the ride. I'm sure there's people that are waiting for this part 5, and
yeah, I'm so
it's
tired of wasting my time, and this is not wasting my time. And this is, like I said, one of maybe 2 interviews this month after doing like maybe sometimes 40 some a month. So this they're allowing this. I think they want this archived. They want to actually have this, and it's a testimony to our fortitude and perseverance. And they do celebrate that in people. They want their people to have those characteristics and qualities. Remember, they're surrounded by imbeciles. They pick the lowest of the forms, D players, they call them in the industry, D players, to facilitate their needs. What they want to do is reset this world and have A players, the A players as in their ranks. See, make sense? So right
mhm.
now they're utilizing D players. They'll get rid of them like used tools that are damaged, and they'll bring in A players in the new world order. So this, what they're doing right now is signaling, in a sense, they're signaling they're about ready to do the switch. And they're looking at those that they consider assets. You and I would be considered that. Your listening audience right now that doesn't make negative comments would be considered also valuable, because we're considered very, very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare. People without a price. Okay, we're looking at this right now. That 1014, as I capped it right there as a caption.
Hmm.
This is from the file. Remember in Matrix, we showed the stuff of the file of Smith on Neo,
Yeah.
where it had my high school, my birthday, my dad's name, my name. Yeah, I apologize for those that,
And September 11th as well.
Yes, and Operation Northwoods, CIA Operation Northwoods, March 11th, 1962. Very good, you pointed it out. So here is the file, which is exactly related to the Matrix file. It's the rap sheet on targets which Smith agent possessed.
Now,
So
when
we have Smith agents in both.
do you know what season or episode the screenshots from?
I'd have to look that back up.
Okay.
I think I do have somewhere where it is. But keep in mind, this is the good question. Agent Smith's file from Matrix, Agent Smith's file from Men in the High Castle, with the targeted individuals, which happen to be me, and now my loved ones in Man in the High Castle layered on after the case is thrown. See it? So this first one is my son's birthday that was murdered, Sean, October 14th, right? Day and month. Go to the next one.
Wait, that's
That's my son's birthday.
your son's birthday. Okay. Yeah, just wanted to
Which is not the
confirm.
year. They're not doing the year. They're doing
Yeah.
the month and day, which violates copyright law. So go to the next one, and we'll look at the same file.
Okay. Give me a second. All right.
All right, same file, next target. That's my other son's birthday that was murdered, Kirk Daniel, December 7th. Sure, that's Pearl Harbor Day, but this is why they're doing it. It's layered. They say when they stack it in, layer it in, stack it in, it's meant, that's how you can tell it's meant for this. Now, there's trolls will say, well, that's this day, and that also applies to somebody's so-and-so's day they pick their nose. But no, this is all stuck in stacked. They call it stacked. I call it layered. So you see, you just saw the same file with an Agent Smith, just like Matrix, has both my son's birthdays that were murdered. Let's layer on another part of the stacking. Next slide. My mom's birthday, same file. There's only 4 pages or so to the file. So far we have my son murdered, birthday. My other son murdered, birthday. My mom, who they tried to murder, May 23rd. Now this is fascinating, Steve. Listen to this. It says in the caption, but I'll explain. And my mom was born May 22nd in Pennsylvania, Altoona, Pennsylvania. The characters from Okinawa in the film. May 22nd, the morning of May 22nd, was May 23rd in Okinawa. So they have it right. My mom's birthday is correct. May 23rd in Okinawa. When she was born in Pennsylvania on May 22nd, the morning of May 22nd, it was May 23rd in Okinawa. Therefore, the Okinawan character would be May 23rd, my mom being born.
Wow.
Incredible. So now we have my
Yeah.
mom, my 2 sons that were killed in the file of the Smith. Where in Matrix, the Smith file in both, Agent Smith in both, was me and my high school and everything else there, and my dad's name was murdered. Let's go to the next frame. Okay. Fascinating. We have July 23rd, right? Doesn't mean anything. A nice taunt, because we have July 2nd with a third, 22nd was in Matrix. So interesting, right? But look to the bottom where the red circle is. The hand has been covering this date throughout the showing of this document, passport. And then it slides over the last second and it reveals what? July 2nd, my birthday.
Wow.
See how they try to be clever? So in the same thing, we have my mom's birthday, they tried to kill. My son's birthday, first and second that were killed. My birthday, all Agent Smith targets. Go to the next slide. And here we go. In Matrix, we have March 11th, right? Now watch this one. Remember, be clever, be clever, be clever. March 11th is in Matrix. That's Operation Northwoods. That's when the CIA ratified it on a Sunday to put before the president 2 days later. Just like they ratified the Declaration of Independence. They signed it all those signatories were done on July 2nd, my birthday. And then on July 4th, it was signed, put forward before people. We celebrate that day. Same thing with this document. Now, people will say, well, it says 11/3. In Germany, you put the day first, the month second, also in the military. So again, very clever. On a German passport, that is March 11th, which matches March 11th on the Matrix entry, along with my high school and everything else. Get it? Now,
Yeah.
how many stackings do we have so far? How many items that are stacked?
There's a lot.
Birthday, yeah, mom's birthday, my son, my other son, my name, Operation Northwood. That's 5 stacked items right there, which blows away any shill's opportunity. Smart audiences will understand. Smart audiences will get this, that there's no way to debate it by the trolls. Go to the next frame. There's even more. What do you see?
11th September.
That's right. That's in the Matrix also. The Wachowskis put 9/11 in, along with Operation Northwoods, March 11th. Or yeah. So here we have it twice. Let's rub it in.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's down at the bottom too. Yeah.
Yeah. So twice we have 9/11. So in Matrix and Man in the High Castle, layered onto Philip K. Dick's work as a device to rip off and mock. March 11th, and they actually go March 11, 1962, the exact date in Matrix. 9/11, both. My birthday, both. My mom's, my Kirk and Sean's birthdays. Both by Agent Smiths. Both by rap sheets being used to target the individuals.
Was this all within one scene?
Yeah. Well, most of it was.
Wow.
The passport sewn and separate. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all from the same file. He's
Yeah.
paging through the file.
That's what I figure. Yeah, he's looking through papers in this. Yeah.
Great question. Exactly. Great point. Exactly what they did in Matrix. In Matrix, they open up with all my stuff, the high school and everything in it. And then you turn the page, there's 9/11. In this, great question. The pages are showing pop, pop, pop for different birthdays of people that were murdered in my family. There's no questions to it, is it? Smart audiences get it. Now, the other side's starting to give up. They're starting to give up that there's no way to contain this now. If educated audiences get it, and they say they get it, by making the comments you read, that those that were good comments, they're kind comments, that is a death sentence for the other side. Because what happens is they realize they've lost. Now there's a penalty for those that put these here. They would brag and boast, believe me, they would. They will. They do. That they did this. But if it's revealed, there's a penalty. That's why the Wachowskis were made to be women or look like women. There's a penalty and a cost in the cabal for failing. Somebody has to pay, they say. And you don't make a trail. So by this trail being revealed now, and smart people getting it, your audience is making a difference. Big difference. That means somebody has to pay behind the scenes, behind the curtain, that was responsible for this. Understand? So now heads will roll, especially after this program today. Notice still no interruptions, not a single bleep interruption at all in its entire filming.
Nope. It's been very clean. And I'd let you know if you dropped out or something like that. But
That's a sign. I hear you. That's a sign that they don't know what to do. It's almost like someone saying, if you go behind the scenes, they go, push the button, and the guy's going with the button going, what the hell for?
yeah,
Where we are. It's going to be a great real life movie, believe me. And even their own attorneys like, this real life movie is going to be amazing. It'll be worth more than the Matrix. Like, yeah, well, because of this kind of thing. So, is there any more slides?
let's see. That looks like the first one
Right.
with Kirk Daniel.
That's Kirk Daniel. Yeah. Isn't that something? Now, question for the audience too. Is there any way that this does not work on our behalf? And I speak of that collectively, all of us, towards a better world. Is there any way the trolls can twist this? I mean, these are screenshots. Can they alter it? No. There's nothing you can do. They can't alter it.
The one thing I think I brought this up to you before, but since everything's moving to digital,
yeah,
that like George Lucas did with all the original Star Wars, the first three movies, he redid them over and over and over.
Yeah.
You can't really find the original one anymore, basically.
Right.
If they try to whitewash all of this, it would be next to impossible to do.
They know that. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The cat's out of the bag, the can of worms is open, whatever you want to say. But I mean, these are, I really think in the future, these are going to be markers, so to speak. I mean, they're already using them as markers, but these will be used as markers in your favor as to show, like, see, this is their trail of their doing, and this is what they were up to while I was dealing with this, and blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A more coherent way of saying it, but
that's right.
The blood is on their hands, and you can't get the stain out. It's going to be on there.
As they say in legal business, they have dirty hands. And so what you have now is, how am I learning about these things? Insiders let me know who are fans of my work. So it's like the can of worms is gone. It's busted open. So it's like fragments. So the worms are everywhere now. They can't stop it at all. And they're counting on audiences being dumb. You don't have a dumb audience. It's over. It's over. And who do I want to save now? The smart ones. Just the smart ones and their families. So perfect for me. I don't care about those that, look at plain evidence and still talk the talking points to their side. They're bought and owned. They're gone. But the people that are smart, you're worth saving. You are definitely worth saving. Yeah. And this can't be denied. It can't be denied. I'm being told it's there. I'm showing it. It can't, people who have the DVDs or things like this or have filmed the series, that's going to be, if they alter it, it'll show they altered it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Even before we started doing this last year, I noticed how with the Matrix by the Wachowski brothers, that rap sheet, like what we see on screen now, but for Thomas Anderson, again, sharing your name, but that's still, I remember watching a lot of like dissection videos on the first film, and like going into deep, like, okay, this is what this means, look at these numbers, what were they trying to say. That screenshot was used so many times in those types of videos, and I tried to watch a whole bunch of different ones over the years, because I mean, I could never like fill that hunger, because I was like wanting for more. I'm like, yeah, there are many layers to the story, but little did I know, like, it was in your story, not the watered down version that we got.
Right. And it's wild. I appreciate it, Steve, because they'll say things like, well, July 22nd, when they had what was on my, documents that the USA Insurance found, was what my birthday was listed at the time. They'll say, well, that was the time I bought my wife a hat or something. They'll just come up with the stupidest things, And this, I like this one here because this is.
Yeah, I went through just to make sure we got all the stills, and apparently we didn't. So this is a new one.
A countdown means that you're going to be killed. You're going to be dead. A countdown in films, if it applies to a certain author, and that's what's so funny, Steve, is people will go,
Oh yeah.
uneducated ones will say, why would they do this? Why would they put your stuff in there? He's an egomaniac suggesting it. It's like, they're putting it in there because I hold the copyright. They took my work. They say they took my work, and that's why they put it in there. I mean, duh, because yeah, I'm the author. That's why they're doing it. They're mocking the author.
Oh, and this looks like it's from the very last up from the finale of the whole
Right.
show.
Yeah, I wanted to catch a season on this one. And look at the countdown. So the countdown is 59:28. That's when it stops. The screen changes a scene at this moment. 59:28. What's the next configuration that's to follow? 59, how many seconds? When you're counting down?
27,
That's right. What's my birthday?
June 2nd,
7/2/59.
or July 2nd. Yeah.
7/2/59. What's
Wow.
backwards? Backwards? What does backwards mean? We can go all the way with it. They want to be clever. These are well thought out. They have to go through a clearance department. Well thought out. So what we see is 7/2/59 backwards. When they do that, it's called the Alice in Wonderland mirror image, which means your life is in disarray. Do you have that shot of the train station, UKO or whatever train station with a clock above it? Do you have that still? Because that has the Alice
Did you
in
send
Wonderland.
it?
That one,
Yeah,
yes.
this okay.
This is the Alice in Wonderland clock again. It's all through Man in the High Castle. Notice the clock above the train station.
Yeah, it's not 10 and 2.
7/7/2 in reverse. Flip the hands opposite.
Oh wow. And this is the same that they use in the Animatrix, right?
Yes. So in
Wow.
Animatrix, you have
Okay.
this. You have the 7/2/59 exactly. So the exact birthday, 7/2/59 exactly. And now what they do in these series is they'll do the mirror image, which is the Alice in Wonderland image. It means it's a statement meaning his life is in disarray. It's over. He's destroyed. See, it's the Alice in Wonderland. You're behind the mirror. So 7/2. Isn't that wild that you flip it and you see 7/2? Now, why teak OKU station, but showing stay? This is priceless. You see the actress?
Yeah.
That's exactly like Otika Ball, the woman I was engaged to that saved my life and allowed me to write the Immortals. She
Wait,
enabled me
what
to
was her name?
Otika Ball. She's
O-
now Otika Bernard. Otika Lynn
Otika.
Bernard. Yeah, Otika Lynn Bernard is what she is now. They bought her completely.
The name of the station starts off with Teak.
Teak is her nickname. They knew that. When I introduced her, I said, here's Teak. Bonaventura,
Wow.
I pitched with Bonaventura, the whole screenplay, right? They had
Yeah.
me on to him. He got to speak to Teak. And I said, this is Teak. And so she took the information down from Bonaventura on where to submit and how to submit. He knows her. So the man who claims that he shepherded, discovered, and shepherded the Matrix story met Teak. And so in this graphic, when Teak left me, who I was engaged to be married to, my life was in disarray. And that's when they gave the work to Wachowskis in 1996, 95, 96. And so they have Teak. What's the next letters? O, K, U. State. Where did Otika go to college? Where'd she go to school for her undergrad? She went to Oklahoma State University.
Wow.
OKU. So we have Teak, OKU, the woman I was engaged to be married, looking like her exactly with her head down. And you've got my birthday above it in reverse. The Alice in Wonderland mirror means life in disarray. That's when they gave it to Wachowskis. Look at the messaging here and the layers in it.
That's a lot.
Brilliant graphic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is the same series that has what? The rap sheet files with my mom's birthday, very cleverly rendered. My son, me, Operation Northwood, 9/11. Isn't that something? This is what's called blowing it open. And so that's why they say you've won the chess game. On tape from Disney's attorney. You've won the chess game.
Is this a real train station?
I don't think so.
If they did take the liberty to use that name, oh, that is just
It's a real
next level stuff.
it's a real slap in the face, isn't it? They're showing your life was over when we bought Otika, who went to Oklahoma State University. Your life went in disarray. Mere Alice in Wonderland clock of your birthday. See, you're right.
No, there's a Tikoku restaurant, but there's no station. Just
Yeah.
In reference to the Man in the High Castle series.
Yeah.
That's it. So they put those letters up. They named their own state because this is supposed to be in an alternate reality, right?
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Why not put Teak up there? Their biggest coup, their biggest success was taking Otika away. If Otika had stayed with me and we got married or stayed engaged, I would have credit for my work. They waited until they pulled her out, broke me. They said, destroy you. That's when they gave the work to the Wachowskis. That's when Bonaventure and Joel Silver gave it to them. After they were given the audition piece, bound to see if they could at least direct. They were given what they called the science project. See? And then Joel Silver makes Altered Carbon with the same premise, calling it the greatest concept in sci-fi history, that the poor in the future are used as pawns by the elite who have immortality. That's my concept. After the case is thrown. So this, you said 2015? That's after the case is thrown. My life isn't disarray. It's over. There's nothing I can do at that point. So why not mock him with Teak? Yeah. Every day, I'm like my own character in the Immortals Matrix story, the Neo. I'm Neo. Every day, the reason that you have Suri, where you talk to the phone and it does what you want and it talks to you in a woman's voice, is because that's what the character does in Immortals. Neo talks to his wife, who's not there. And she's programmed into the home, into everything else, into his memories, where she talks with him. That's why they used it in Braveheart with
You know, I'm going to mention this because I saw this a few weeks ago. The finale for the most recent Rick and Morty cartoon show.
Yeah.
They had the guy. So it's a sci-fi comedy cartoon show. Okay, and it's made for adults. And the main character goes back to his house in his original timeline where his wife and daughter are no longer alive apparently. Right. But I guess in this version where we hadn't seen in the previous seasons, he hooked up his house to have basically his wife speaking to him as an AI over speaker.
Please.
That was something that just recently happened with this season, that because they've been on air for almost 10 years, but they've had 6 seasons now, I think. Right. So it took them a while to get going. But
can you send a message to me on my email about that so I can reference that?
Yeah.
When you're done your show.
Yeah. Yeah, here, I'll make a note of it.
Too important. That's too important. Because that's why ever since I lost Teak, it's like every single day since I lost her, that's how many years? Decades? I would wake up and say, I love Teak. I love Otika. I still do it. Every day I've said it. I'm like my character in my movie where they said they put me on a movie. I was so in love with her that I never stopped saying it. And her friend said, she'll be back with you. She's going to come back to you. But they got a personal trainer that was part of the Rockefeller group named Pat Kearney. And she left her job with the Rockefellers and became her personal trainer to make sure she never came back. After her friends were saying, she'll be back, she loves you. And if you hold 1 second, I'll show you a picture of her to see if she does not look like her. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so here she is. All good. This is Otika. I took the picture.
Wow, that is uncanny to the still that we got here.
Right. And that
so they cast her to look like her, basically.
Exactly. They do it on purpose. So that was my heart and soul. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be alive. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have completed the screenplay. She was there at the pitch session and made it go through. She's a witness to that. And when I asked her, I sent a message to her mail packet asking her to verify it. You know, it would help the world. She said she would be there for me if it needed it in the past. And so she just sent it back, just didn't even open it, because that's what they have her doing. So that was the person that I was to be married to and was integral. And when they took her away, they broke me. And they made that personal trainer in charge. And so then that's when the Wachowskis are handed the work. So she could have made a difference where we could have made a difference in the world. And that's what we were working for so long. We were going to make a difference in the world, but it was just too attractive, the offers. Yeah. That's when they broke me. So you're right. See how she looks like
Thank you for sharing that, because it kind of connects a lot more of all the story together.
Well, that's why basically I've been a broken man since for over 30 years. I agree. I mean, I admit it broke me when they were able to do that. In fact, I had people saying, professionals saying, like, you know, you have to believe she's bad that she did this. And I went, she's good. I could not get my mind to think anything but that she's good. And so, you know, that's why they were able to give the work to the Wachowskis. They knew there was no fight left in me. And that's why they had to provide their own attorneys to railroad it, like the guy with the suspended license. That's why by giving me this guy with the suspended license and eligible to practice law, they knew they could just push through anything they wanted, you know, push it right through. This is Tony Rankin. So they got their way. And when you look at the documentations that was done, like the contract he had, when you look at the contract he had, it's like the second page, it's like he's saying that basically you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You know, he doesn't want this shown ever, but it's like anything you do that he says he can disagree with me basically anytime he can disagree with me and cut me off, and all I have to pay him everything, all monies, all costs, everything. And it's like basically you'll be broke, you'll be destroyed. So he can definitely throw the case with a suspended license. And again, what did he do? And the last thing he did, one of the last things he did was, like when I fired him finally, is that he sent me an email following being fired saying within the half hour, he allowed the opposition, his classmates from Warner Brothers, to proceed to summary judgment without objection, which means you're done. It's over. After he's fired. That's how you throw a case. I'm glad we're talking to smart people, smart audiences, because it's like, if you understand that and you see this thing thrown all the time, he lost his case. Well, then you get the idea that it really wasn't a lost case. It was a Breaker Morant situation.
Yeah, it was a setup from the beginning.
Completely controlled and set up. Yeah.
So you said your son brought this to your attention with Man in the High Castle, right?
No, it was actually contacts. Aiden was the one that discovered, what was it he discovered that was so amazing? God, he showed me something. He showed me something amazing. I forget what the entry was. I got to figure out what it was. I'll have to ask him again, because I think I sent a shot to you. But Man in the High Castle is something I've been contacted about. Those entries, Aiden didn't point those out to me. I don't think he never even saw Man in the High Castle yet. But
okay, but
there's another entry that he found that was just mind blowing that he pointed out to me. Oh, I know what it was. Here it is. That these millionaires across the planet have decided that they're contributed all these different funds into solving longevity to make people immortal. It's exactly.
Oh yeah.
So my screenplay premise has now come true. And that's what's utilized to make a one world order. Only the elite are chosen to be part of it. Like I said, remember I said that the smart ones are the ones that they want, and the ones that prove, like, that take us on and shout us down, are considered small-minded and not, they're going to be cut off. They'll be disposed of for the new world coming, new world order. And so longevity will not be given to them, but we would be offered longevity because we're considered assets in the new world to come. Now that they're funding the longevity program, which is the Immortals program, which we talk about, that's when they're starting to select who merits the program, which is quoted right from the screenplay, merits the program. See? And then it's considered the harvest. So, warning to the unwise, those that are belittling what we said and distracted by all the noise out there, they are being measured and judged. Right now is the judgment, if you will, man's judgment. And they're making sure that they and their families will be cut off. But the smart ones are noted and considered entry level, worth entering. So we are already on the slate for a new world order. Isn't that amazing? And it was a great question you asked about our religion, things, our beliefs in Christ and stuff. That is also considered a novelty. We are a novelty to the cabal. We're like something from a zoo. It's like interest, fascinating. It's all about stimulation of the mind. We're stimulating to their mind because it's almost like we're a collectible to them, that we have these beliefs. If that makes any sense at all. So we would be interesting at parties.
I have another comment from the first interview that the negative person that I read about earlier, the one comment that said nonsense, they chimed in, and then the original commenter responded right back. But I'm going to read this whole thing to you. There's a few. It's a little long for the first comment, but the back and forth after is pretty funny.
All right, very good. Probably didn't stick. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is from 2 months ago from another viewer. This was one of the most incredible interviews I've ever listened to. The intelligence, knowledge, passion, memories, pain, and respect all flowing from Tom is the exact kind of mind I would expect from the creator of The Matrix. How shocked I was when I originally found out it was a lot more in-depth and complicated before the Wachowskis dissected and ruined it. I grew up with a reverence for The Matrix. The philosophy, themes, and intelligence found in that movie trained me to think deeper, gave me a taste for good writing, and helped me hone my own craft as I learned from it. I was so excited to see more and learn from its creator. However, I never felt any form of reverence each time I looked into the Wachowskis. They could hardly articulate anything, refused to answer questions about it, and they totally come across as dumb as doornails whenever they spoke. There was always something off about them, but I never understood that feeling when I was young. Then I grew up and I had my awakening and I learned about this system of corruption. Then also had my own creativity ripped off by those I thought I could trust. I came to understand the truth. Evil cannot create. They can only steal and corrupt. We are living a lie. Nothing is as it seems. Nowadays, it makes complete sense to me that The Matrix and most good scripts are ripped from talented and naive creators who give their all, only to be betrayed by the scum around them. They've even made movies about stealing movie ideas. Oh, they really are creatively bankrupt. But I digress. I believe Tom Althouse is the real creator of The Matrix and believe him wholeheartedly. We must get the word out and ignite the flame that will change the world. These people need to pay for what they have done, not just Hollywood, all of them. The global awakening is coming with each new piece of information that drips out. They're doing their best to hold it back, but nothing can stop what is coming. And I'm not talking about the QAnon LARP. A true spiritual global awakening is coming. Revelations on how the VAX was an attempted attack on humanity should go a long way to speeding that up. What a time to be alive. We will never forgive. We will never forget. Expect us.
Wow. 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 Wow.
One of the most eloquent comments I've ever received on the channel.
Yeah, that's the intelligence. That's what I'm talking about. That's going to make the difference and make our world better. It's that interactive intellectual process.
Yeah, and they're speaking from the like somewhere deep down, like from their heart. Like they're talking about stuff that parallels my own life with
Right.
how I went to school and how I was um, taught this world of filmmaking was something that isn't. But yeah, this person gave such a great, well thought out
Mhm.
comment. And that was 2 months ago on the first interview. And then
Right.
this negative Nancy shows up again, the one that's called the nonsense.
I've been afraid of it. Yeah.
So very short response, but they replied to this person's comment. He cannot even articulate his position. Why would anyone believe him when everything he says is circumstance and conspiracy theory? If he is serious, why would he not present his information in a structured way that does not require being interviewed? It's nonsensical. So there again with them saying it's nonsense.
Right.
A day later, so this is 12 days ago now, they responded to that negative comment.
Oh, bless him.
He said, must be difficult for all five of your brain cells to understand. He articulated his position just fine.
My God. God bless him, because that's exactly what we need to do for anybody who's bringing forward their evidence is to we have to address the trolls. We have to, because that's the new battleground. That's all the other side has left is, people calling from I was watching the Rome series, and the one guy, Varenus or something, he's becoming a magistrate. And so he's talking to the crowd, and you have this one heckler in the back going like, oh, cack, and this kind of stuff. And then the people take him away. And the audience can cheer to that. And it's like, that's exactly what needs to be done now. All they have is hecklers now. That's all they can do. What a great series. That was fantastic. I love it, because that's exactly how it needs to be done. It's the ones without brain cells trying to shout down a group that's coming together saying, look, we're adhering to evidence and we're lifting
Yeah,
each
gave
other
a
forward.
very, very thoughtful original comment. Somebody comes in to try to deflate it, and then he just whips right back to them, being
Beautiful.
like, well, if it's nonsensical to you, then you just don't have the processing power to understand it.
Well said.
Like,
See, yeah, because that party that came in, they strike, and that's their job. And
yeah,
then if they see something that's going to really affect, they'll come again and strike. That shows they're working for those. That's just not a troll. That's somebody with an
I
agenda.
didn't realize when I read the first one earlier that they made a second comment on my channel too. But I have a few of those that
Yeah.
come around and they try to start trouble.
I
But
would
like I
say
said,
strike the first one, which is just a hit and run,
yeah,
and leave the other one. Leave the other one, because that shows masterfully handling um nonsense.
yeah,
Yeah, nonsense. Yeah, well, masterfully handling it. That's what needs to be done. That keeps the engine rolling without sputters and stops. So well done, well done. God, that's great. Glad you shared that.
yeah. It's always fun seeing the comments that come in on our interviews because
Yeah,
it's either one thing or the other. It's either like massive pouring out of thanks or just straight to the bashing.
yeah.
It's nowhere in between.
What do you do with evidence like this? What do you do? It's like we just laid out stuff. How do you handle it? For the other side, how is the other side going to handle it? They have to just take jabs, slings, and arrows. That's all they can do. And meanwhile, why are we doing this? Are we doing it for fame? No. Are we doing it for money? No. What are we doing it for? Try to make a difference. Why was the piece written in the first place? Pieces that are good, all those works out there that have been taken from different people. There's poor naive people out there like myself that were taken. They took it when they broke me. When they took her, they took it when they took her. They take it when you're down. They take it when you're kicked on the ground and you're down. That's when they take it, because they're cowards. They take it when you're at your worst, your weakest. That's when they go for it. So audiences, God bless them, when they get it and they understand, this process that's employed. Now they're down to just trolls and spraying the skies and trolls. That's about all they got left. All they got left.
Yeah, there, and it's yeah, they really only have that left. I have a few videos on YouTube. I know YouTube and Google are throttling a lot of channels right now.
They are.
Um, I've been trying to break through that, like the algorithms. It's hit or miss. There's times because this entire month I've posted a video every day. So one of the days I posted 7 videos. 2 other days I posted 2 videos. So I mean the math comes out to what, 29 videos in 21 days. So there were times when there would be a dip that comes in, and I want to say when I get a hit on a viral video, so like something from maybe earlier in the week, it goes up, and I'm averaging about 300 views a day, and then it's like it halves, and it goes to 150 a day,
Right, right.
and there's really no explanation. It's just there's the shoot up, and then it just drops off,
That's
and
like what happened
no
on Twitter.
explanation.
The Twitter thing that went viral. It just like boom, took off, like just numbers jumping. Suddenly it said the views were staying the same, but the retweets and the hearts that were kept going really fast. They kept compiling. So how can the views be the same when there's retweets and hearts compiling? Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're
They're
revealing that.
they're doing something with suppressing it.
Shut
I
this down.
mean,
Shut them up. Shut it down. Yeah,
I have
that's
a they have this analytics thing on YouTube where you can view real time how many views you've had over the past 2 days.
right.
So when one of my videos started spiking, I forget, it was one of the board meeting videos, but it went from doing like 22 to 30 views an hour to then it jumped up to like 60 something views the next hour.
Right.
And then it dropped back down to 30 in the 20s. That 60 view bar then disappeared,
Oh,
and it went down to like, I want to say single digits
right.
for that hour. That they scrubbed that entire hour. But I went into the content where it displays all my videos. The view count stayed the same, like they were continuing to increase. I think it went up to 366 views,
Right.
and then it just stopped. There hasn't been any views on it for like 2 weeks now. So that was one thing where it was getting passed around. People were sharing it with other people. It was being referred to on the browse feature for YouTube. So I guess like my subscribers were getting shown it and they were clicking on it and watching it. But I don't know what's the cause. Like, does the suppression code on their algorithms just run out, and then everything is found again, and people are searching for what they want, and then here things are popping up, and it gets that small boost, and then they see that spike, and then they're like, "Oh no, we got to reset it again."
That's what
I'm just guessing, like that's what's going on
I
here.
think it's human involvement where they're responsible for particularly high level profiles. They want to make sure that certain stuff does not get out. This is very important to them. That certain things do not get out. A lot of careers at stake. Could be jail time. This is huge. This could swing the way the world goes, and certain agendas have to be tossed. This is so important to them, but they have to make it look like to the public that it's not. So the
The
game is
entire film industry, and especially Hollywood, should be in jail at this point.
oh, absolutely. Oh my God.
Like all the top people that are involved with this, the people you've named, the people that you haven't named that are somehow connected to all.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that all the actors, all the crew members should be locked up. No, the people orchestrating this stuff should have been extracted from the positions that they're in. And if they're not in jail for life, they should be blacklisted from the entire industry.
I agree completely.
And because of, I mean, this is almost like crimes against humanity in a way, because they're trying to destroy your life.
While you're
And
trying to bring a message to make a difference, yeah, they
mhm,
robbed the whole world of the work as it was supposed to be, which is supposed to lift a world and bring it together.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the
And what
guys
are
that
we
were,
seeing now? It's all division, infighting.
yeah, now it is. And they gave it to the Wachowskis. The Wachowskis were the worst candidates I could think of to give it to. They, they even say, let audiences figure out themselves. They are the worst people to have a take on it. But they didn't do it alone. There were in-house script doctors that also worked with them. But yeah, I'm telling you, I agree completely. It's a travesty. It is crimes against humanity. And it's interesting that you and I think the reason they're connecting us also, here's a far cry that might look interesting. We could be cast as Larry and Andy in a film. You know that? So they look like they're trying to find they're going to use a replacement for them when they make them fall. The axe is over their heads. They blew it big time when they put all the similarities in the Matrix and then echoed it in Midnight Castle. So there is an accounting coming for them. So they shot Matrix 4 to mock. They did it shoddy, on purpose, just to make money off it. Like their Bible, they say how to make $1 million Hollywood without spending a dime or losing a dime. That was what they called their Bible. Quote, their Bible. So how to make B low budget movies and cash in. They were cashing in with Matrix 4. They weren't interested in making a film that caught the public. They just want to cash in before they're caught.
I think the only publicly filmed scene for Matrix 4 was something with the motorcycles. That's all I heard.
Yeah, jumping off the roof. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. And the motorcycle scene was so stupid. Who wants to watch middle-aged people riding on a motorcycle? It's not exciting. Middle-aged people on a motorcycle.
Who wants to watch an entire movie that had an ending in the previous movie? That's another. I was such a staunch defender of the trilogy that I kind of got lost in the middle of it. But I mean, at least I'm at where I'm at now, where I know the whole thing's a sham. But Matrix 4, like I was getting ready to protest that film from being made.
Good for you.
And that was I really think that was the starting of like the splintering for me of moving away from essentially worshiping these people. Because I mean, there's only so much that's in those films. There's only so much they can show and communicate, and then the rest of it's up to us to link everything to. Oh well, this means this and this means this. They'll be explicit about certain things like your birthday and your family's birthday, where you went to school and all of that, but like the deep philosophical elements that are it's like they're kind of paraded around and then forgotten about.
Yeah.
And here I'm like opening a binder of notes and being like, all right, this means this. I'm creating new meaning on my own from the rewatches.
They're counting on your creativity to tie it together. That's what they're doing. They're just they stick something in and they go, oh, this will be cool, this will be clever, and they just stick it in. Somebody's Tao philosophy. Stick it in. Just stick it in and hope it ties together. That's what they said. They hope it tied together. Joe Silver said it on set. We hope it tied together. We hope we used up the rest of the story. Well, if you used up the rest of the story, you're using it from the original screenplay. You're using up the story, and you're hoping it ties together. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's like taking your father's broken box car, race car, and it's in parts in the shop. You have no idea what you're doing, and you just assemble it together and hope it runs and hope it works together. Hope it ties together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad work. So yeah, but that's what's so frustrating is how many generations have grown up now. These generations are grown seeing the ripped off version, and Wachowski said they're relying on audiences to teach them what it means on their own website. Like the 6 generations of Zion, they said audiences taught us that it should have been 1. I have 1, not 6. It doesn't make sense when you made it 6. And audience members are coming in and saying it should be 1, just like it was originally written. And they're going, oh yeah, it shouldn't have been 6, it should have been 1. I can't wait to have the film made the way it's supposed to be. And that's one of the big things Hollywood keeps saying is, let's make a blend with Marvel Comics. Let's make a blend. Having Marvel Comics personnel contact me in emails and texts that I have for the documentary saying, let's do a blend of Cypher-Man and the Immortals. I don't want to do a blend of Cypher-Man and the Immortals. If we're going to solve this situation and write this world, we got to do the Immortals exactly how it was written, so people can see the similarities and say, oh, I get it now, especially the smart ones. They need to be able to have that opportunity. to finally see how it ties together. And it does, Steve. It ties together so tight that I cannot lift anything out of a page. I can't lift it out and put it even somewhere else. It'll disjoint the story. No wonder, as they said, they hope they used up the rest of the story and they hope it ties together. You can't. It'll never tie together if you take the car apart and assemble it differently. If you don't follow the instructions to the letter, it's not going to be put together properly.
And you'd want to have that properly put together car for others to enjoy down the line.
Absolutely. And everyone have the opportunity to do their derivatives of the work, that they get to use their minds. They'll be free to own the copyright at that point, that they can create their offsets. Wouldn't that be fun to see everybody's different takes on it and creating beyond it? That's what copyright is supposed to do. Let the author bring to fruition their work, and then let audiences and the public, let people take it further after the author is done, be it male or female, finished rendering it. Let it be taken to the next level by people in the world. Copyright law is supposed to work that way. Upon my death, it should go to everyone. But instead, Disney takes Mickey Mouse and changes the copyright law around for themselves and says, after Disney's death, Disney Corporation will still own the rights to Mickey Mouse. That we're still going to go. We're going to break copyright law and amend it. Now, they had the right to do that in the Copyright Office. They've been infiltrating the Copyright Office from go. The rest of the law applies to us, where we got to let it go. Our generations don't get to take it and benefit from it. It goes to the public. So now what they're doing is to say they want to do away with copyright law, that everything has been done under the sun. So that's their excuse. Then they can say, well, we're not thieves. The law now says that there is no copyright law, no binding restrictions, because everything's been done under the sun. So therefore, we're not guilty of anything because that's law. We didn't steal any work. We simply, they actually claimed, their attorneys actually claimed when I was under oath, they had a retort on me and said, well, you didn't make it first. You didn't make it first. We made it first.
But you copyrighted it first, didn't you?
See, that's the crazy thing. They're trying to argue, you're right, I copyrighted it first. But their argument is, we made it first. As if they did the world a favor. We made it first. You sat on it. You didn't do anything with it. So we made it first. We helped the world. We made it first. That's a copyright law argument? You just admitted you're guilty. You stole it. Just say it what it is. You stole it. Don't try to say like you're some kind of benevolence for doing it. See the twisting and the turning?
Well, you were too slow to get the funds that Warner Brothers has to put together.
While they broke my life and destroyed my life. Yeah, that's when they took it. Yeah, I'd be too slow. I'm still too slow. I still feel the pain. That's over 30 years.
If we had proper judges,
yes,
I really think they'd be ruling in your favor. And plus, they wouldn't have had. I wish. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say it like I wish things were different the way we obviously know that. But there's so many factors, like you being assigned somebody for your case that turned out their license was expired.
Yeah, for years.
That you didn't know. And yeah, so they came at you at all angles, but it didn't work.
I'm told that it'd be a no-brainer that judges would rule, a fair judge would rule immediately. In fact, I'm told they would just shove it all aside and say, there's no point here. You've won summary judgment. Because it's like, I mean, you got the testimony from the submitting attorney, James Boyd. He's got the tracking, like I said, the tracking number and the receipt. It's tracking number receipt to Warner Brothers, the full content, the letter sent, there's the date, completely showing that he sent it.
Wow.
4000 Warner Brothers Lane, all the contents, including the music, sent. The affidavit, when the attorney with a suspended license claimed he contacted him and said he has nothing. You lose. You had nothing. He had nothing. I contacted him. He gave an affidavit, notarized, tracking number, receipt, had everything, the file, the full file, script, music, everything he had. So Mr. Rankin, Tony Rankin on Maui, what's this about? You contacted him and he had nothing? I have the email that shows that too from him. So yeah, we would win hands down.
Do you think that these people that are doing this, with making all of this content, I guess you could say, because of streaming now, where they're ripping off your work and everything.
Right.
What do you is their goal short term monetary gain? And are they think are they thinking that they won't be exposed, and that's why they're so blatant with their mocking of you, with throwing all of these clues in to uh different releases that they have?
Great question. Besides claiming ownership by putting the entries are also put in by different players. You're talking about like a wolf spider with all the babies on the back. That's the
Yeah.
cabal, babies on the back. So they each have different motives and stimuli that guides them or takes them forward in their demented ways. And so what you have is this idea also by having these entries in there. One of the phrases that's used is, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what it means. There's nothing you can do about it. That's one of the things they'll say. Snarling. So it's like, so they think there's nothing I can do about it, and they think the public won't get it. They actually say it's too much for the public. They'll never get this. And they have Sophia Stewart jumping in on calls, going like, they wouldn't do that. Well, obviously did, and we're told they did, but that's something for the public to hear. They're supposed to hear that, oh, they wouldn't do that. And then people like that guy that made the negative comments are supposed to go, they wouldn't do that. Well, they did. It's like, what the hell? Why would they do it with him? Why would they say it about him? Well, if I'm the author that has the copyright and submitted to Bonaventura, and we can show that directly, which is a big thing in access, is a big thing in copyright law, wouldn't they be mocking the author? If I was the neighbor of the author, maybe not, or if I was the trash man or the librarian down at the high school, maybe they wouldn't be doing it. Yeah, but if you're the author of the work they stole, they're going to mock you in the piece if they think they can get away with it. And they're saying that there's nothing you can do about it, then they're going to mock you so they can say there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
So they think that they've already gotten away with it.
Yes,
And
they've cashed in.
So that's okay.
They've cashed in. That's why Matrix 4 raced forward. See? So they feel like they cashed in.
Man, I'm just thinking here. Sorry.
All right, I appreciate that. Believe me, I'm a man that appreciates people thinking. Believe me, because I'll tell you what I have heard and what I've seen. It's just, I can't believe humanity is evolved beyond insects with what I've heard. And it's funny because in this Matrix, they have the Smith going like that humans are insects. In the original piece, you have the Smith saying that they're a virus, they're insects, virus. Same thing. They just lifted that also. Everything else they lifted, which means we win our case hands down. Judges go, yeah, you got it. But that's what it feels like now. To the original author, it feels like humanity is not evolved. It's just, well, how could too much evidence be too much? What the hell? That's like saying, here's your son, here's your baby, your newborn. Well, we had the official registration. You saw him being born. Here's your wife, here's your baby. Here's the doctor who delivered it. You saw it all happen. And the guy going, well, I don't know if it's my baby. They said that I didn't really see it, and it's too much evidence, and it's too much that says it's my baby. Therefore, it can't be my baby. Humanity, I don't understand humanity. It's like, how did we even get by the Stone Age?
Yeah, it does seem like, I mean, for my personal experience over like the past 20 years, there's like a laziness factor that has like set in very deeply into everything.
Absolutely.
So what used to need to have citations and references and everything, now it's just like, well, I said it, so there's a proof.
Yeah.
Or I watched it the other night. Go look it up on Google or Netflix or whatever, like that type of stuff.
Pat Robertson's letter to me from himself employs these tactics you're describing. Because in the letter to me, I don't know if I have it right on him, but the letter to me, he says the very words, trusted sources say. What the hell does that mean? Can you imagine getting into a fair court and saying, well, Your Honor, trusted sources said, well, then we're ruling in your favor. Trusted. Is anybody asked who the trusted sources are? It doesn't matter. He said trusted sources said. It's got alliteration. It sounds good. I mean, it sounds like this is important what he's saying.
It's like saying anything that is peer reviewed is like all of a sudden more prestigious than things that aren't peer reviewed in a way.
Exactly, without having to disclose anything. Just verbal nonsense. Make it sound pretty. Nonsense. Yeah, there's the word. So, Steve, God, it's a pleasure to actually get to work with smart audiences, to be on this program with you. Not one single interruption.
No.
The entire time, which means they are in school right now, listening in to your class. You're the instructor. They are listening intently to what we're saying. They're fans of the work. They're fans of your intellect, my intellect, and your audience's intellect. They are fans that we actually weather. It's amazing to them. It's a fascination, and it's stimulating for their minds to see this. It doesn't matter about numbers. It's the fact that they will tune into this knowing, here's the original author. Here's a very smart man hosting him. Here's an audience that gets it. This wasn't in our parameters. This wasn't in our layout sheet and projections at all. This wasn't in our playbook. So it is of interest to them. So we can say that class dismissed. Yeah.
I have one more question for you, and I guess for those listening as well, it's a learning moment for them. But so I'm going to set up this question with a little prelude. There was in the weightlifting competition world a few years back. Apparently nobody had lifted 500 kilograms for a deadlift before. And this one guy finally did it like a few years ago. And now there's many bodybuilders that are able to pull off a 500 kilogram deadlift. But it only happened after this first guy did it. Everybody was trying to get up to that weight. It's a little over 1,000 pounds of weight you're trying to lift.
Sure.
But it seems like once the record was broken, or once that threshold was opened up, then a whole bunch of other bodybuilders all of a sudden were able to do the same thing, if not better. And I guess my question in regards to that is, do you see this revelation that we're going through as creators of noticing what's going on in Hollywood? Do you think that will catch on similarly to like the 500 kilogram deadlift? Or now that, like, just the fact that we're talking about this now, and that I've come to my own conclusions on, like, oh, Nolan, the Wachowskis, Tarantino, they're all part of this system that I want nothing to do with anymore. And so I'm going to stop engaging. No more Blu-rays, no more posters, no more other memorabilia from these works that now I've learned that they're stolen. Do you think there's like that cascading effect though that may happen with people walking away from Hollywood and thinking for themselves more?
It's definitely happening. We have people contacting that, besides those that tell us what to look for in these films now, which has become a thing that I understand is they want to be remembered, right? So they tell me that the stuff is there because they want to be remembered. They want it to be known. See, they want to reveal their hands. And so it's like that they can be famous for it later as we come forward. But as far as people drifting away, absolutely. They're claiming they're definitely getting away from it. They want to form new Hollywoods. Even the paparazzi contacts I have will contact me and say, they've been instrumental in helping me, actually, because they said this is horrible, while saying they get 40,000 a picture if they succeed. So they are saying that, yeah, a new Hollywood's forming, and they're saying, Tom, you have caused this. It's nice of them to say that. It gives me some encouragement that maybe it's making a difference. And they're saying, like, yeah, you've caused a new Hollywood to start to form. There's many, they said, dangerous people in Hollywood who are behind you and support you now. So you're seeing a swing over not only of those that have been innocuous in doing these things, but also those that have power within Hollywood. Those that have been brutal in Hollywood are remaining fans of the work. And if you succeed, they'll say, we're behind you. It's like the mafia saying, yeah, you did good. You did good. We're gonna go ahead and back you. Anybody's horse's head you want topped off? It's like that's what's going on. They are now dangerous people in Hollywood are now rooting for Tom Althouse. Isn't that something? So you don't see a execution of these people are bad, these people are good happening. You see this gray mass where they play both sides. What's more profitable for me and my family? What's going to make us excel? What's going to be the winning team? The banks see it that way, the rest. So yes, you're seeing the exodus. The more we succeed, the more the word's out, the more intelligent people that get it and spread it, the more Hollywood dissembles itself. It's like the machine disassembling itself because it's not going to be profitable for it to continue on the route it's doing.
Yeah, I don't think that their studios are being used like they were. I mean, even 3 years ago to now, like,
well, Aiden pointed out too, tributes are being done. My good brother pointed this out too. Tributes are being done to people like Spielberg right now. Tributes. They are doing things to appease them publicly, and including with the awards. Make it like his own story. Who writes a story about themselves and does tearful music and a music about themselves and portrays themselves? Well, I couldn't imagine making a movie about my life where I direct it, compose it, and put in soft music and, oh, you're going to cry when you see what happened to me here. That's egotistical. That's just off the charts. And then expect awards for it, from what I'm hearing. So what's going on is they're appeasing him because he's going to be faded out. And they're going to make way for the people that are genuine now. So there's a reason also that you and I are able to do a completely uninterrupted broadcast for this long without one interruption. That's unheard of. That's going on because they have plans where, as they fade the Spielbergs out, those guilty of tremendous crimes against humanity, horrible crimes, they're preparing the room for the fresh blood, the good ones. And they reinvent themselves and say, we're good. Sure, all these things happen, but we're good. We were always rooting for you. We're good. That's why Bob Iger's returned to Disney. That's why you're seeing a shifting of personnel. And it's preparing the room for the actual authors, because it'll now be more profitable to work with the actual ones that actually have good creative ideas and are sitting on screenplays that can make a fortune for the studios. This is the new tactic that's come to play. Watch for it. And the elimination of those that were responsible for failing, the Spielberg segment of that group will be rewarded and pushed aside. And their ego will allow them to accept that. You know, they gear the rewards to fit the ego, that they'll be silent. The other segment will be eliminated, mafia style, hanging from a doorknob. That's what's going to happen to other ranks of those that were, you know, as they clear the way for the good to come in. So you're seeing a reconditioning of Hollywood where it's more profitable to work with the good people. But they have to get us to agree not to press the issue, not to point the finger, and to accept the rewards now going to be offered to us. See, it's a movie in flux. Now the other side will try to get people to, or video streamers and things, to say they made threats. We have not made a single threat in this whole program.
Nope.
We have not said the bad words. We have not done anything that would consider banning. But their attorneys will say things like, it was threatening. Where's the threat? Where's the beef on that? Where's the threat? There isn't it. But that doesn't matter. So they do blanket things like that. So it's like seeing the winning horse, or the winning horse, whipping it as it goes to the finish line, try to bring it down. But then having the stand and acceptance speeches ready and the flowers ready to put around its neck if it wins. So they've got it covered both ways. So they know we're winning. So that's why Spielberg is being issued out. One of the biggest baddies in this whole situation, my personal, is Spielberg. And so they're allowing him to have his great ending, feed his ego, lift them up, prepare the way, prepare the room. So that's what's going on. It's nice to know, and it's nice to talk to intelligent people about what's going on. That's nice. It's nice that we're allowed to talk to each other. Again, that's because there's also a platform set at the end here where the rose is ready. They are doing the contingency plan where they're going to go ahead and be ready for our victory, our success, and to welcome us. The people that will be first in line to welcome us were the ones that actually were instrumental in the stealing of the work.
The people holding the ropes trying to trip the runner in the race are now also standing at the finish line with their arms wide open, waiting for a hug.
Yes.
Right?
And you nailed it. See, that's it. And they'll say these words. We were always there for you. We were rooting for you. We were always there for you.
I made sure to lower the rope so you wouldn't trip on it.
That's right. The phrase they always say is, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? So if you're the winning team, they want to know what's in it for them. Yeah. So they'll attach onto you. So the first ones in line with their hands out is those that tried to destroy you and strip you away. Right?
Yeah.
So, there you go. They destroyed my life, but I kept going. I didn't stop. And that means that makes me a more valuable asset. That tenacity and longevity is something they want in their ranks in the new world order. See, I would make a great agent in the new world order. That's how they see me. I'd be a great agent. I know the game. I know the speak. I know everything about it. I've survived the worst. So in a sense, I've had a boot camp for 3 decades plus. And I survived. And I have a very smart son. So yeah. So that's how they see it. It's all about what's in it for them, assets. And they, like you said, they'll be the first ones there lowering the rope and saying, their arms out, like you said, we're always there for you, man. We're always rooting for you. Ha! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They forget who they're talking to, but okay. But thank you, Steve. This is great. This is great. It's nice to be able to talk and have it understood. It's nice to articulate, and I wonder what trolls they'll send next to say,
I can't wait.
Because that's yeah. I'm looking forward to it too.
But my response to most of them, even though I don't reply, is thanks for watching.
There you go.
Came across the video somehow. I'm glad you're spending time here with us and
yeah,
at least getting a little education.
They're watching right now. The other side is watching right now, and I'm telling you, some heads of the departments at Disney and also Warner Brothers and their attorneys are tuned in, glued to what we're speaking about. Yeah, they're the ones that come up and shake your hand and say, actually, you're really a cool guy. Actually, I said before, you're really a cool guy. We're fans of the work. And then back to trying to destroy you. We're just doing our job. It's just our job. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Just their job. Anyway, good job today. I appreciate having me on. This is me with the headache and the cognitive dissonance. And
I actually forgot. Yeah, a little bit about the illness with you as we went on.
I'm saying I still was able to articulate with an illness, and that is something they note also. It's like the training camp in the military where you undergo, depravity and things like this, and then you run your course. They'll tire you out and then you run it and see how you handle it emotionally. It's like, yeah, I'll do my job. I'm well trained. I've been through the hell and the gauntlet, and I can function in the worst of situations, and I can still shine. So, and I enjoy. It lifts me and feeds me to work with good people. And this program, working with you, Steve, has definitely fed me and lifts me. So thank you. This definitely rejuvenates.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tom. I guess this is the resilience of the leaders and creators, the people who can create. Because if there's anybody else watching that does create and makes work of their own, know that not everybody's like that. There's some people that need to be literally spoon-fed ideas like the Wachowski brothers.
Yes.
In order for them to function in the world. And
absolutely.
For us, it's just like, oh, hey, I came up with this idea the other night while I was heating up food in the microwave. What do you think of this? And sometimes we just put those ideas off to the side and don't work on them for a while, if at all. And but yeah, that being a creative is it is a gift. So
It is.
we need
And
to be able to use it and adapt. And
Joel Silver during Die Hard, what he did was he would say, we hope this will work. Try this, so maybe it'll work. Try this. That's how they talk. They don't have the brain to figure it out. We suss it completely out and see it visually on the layers. We see it all. We can look at a blank screen and see it all, and we can assess how audiences respond to the different scenes and how they layer in, how they tie together. They don't have that cognitive ability. See? And that's why they mock and stick the inserts in to mock the authors that do. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it does. And then, yeah, great.
Yeah, it
great.
makes sense to me. There's more I want to talk about on that, but we'll save it for another day. It's more directing work and I guess the atmosphere of film sets. There's a whole dynamic that goes into it, and also when you're a writer and director, if you're getting those actors to read your script in the inflection that you wrote it without even telling them to, then you know you're doing something right with it.
That's right. That's right. When you open that creativity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you to your audience too.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And I'll send you that email on Rick and Morty with that voiceover thing, because I think you'll extract something out of that maybe I'm missing.
Absolutely. That's a low blow. That is definitely a low blow by them, because that was,
and the whole show is a ripoff of Back to the Future. So okay. I mean, it's just more. It's very obvious they stole didn't steal, but they changed. Yeah, they changed the characters up enough, but people who are a fan of that trilogy by Zemeckis, they could watch this cartoon and be like, "Oh yeah, he looks like them, and he looks like them." And they sound like each other too from the films, but they're doing all this other stuff.
That's right. And audiences need to realize too, they can learn that this way to steal the work is to lift the images they think are cool. Like we said, they lift the images they think are cool, the concepts they think are cool. That's why they kept the exact same ending, like I said, in the Matrix from the Immortals. The exact same ending. When everybody else said blow it up, they kept the same ending. But that's what they do. And so they'll stick something like the woman's voice, the wife's voice talking in the home. They'll stick that in to a film. So it's not a matter of it matching up to the screenplay. It's a matter of listening to the elements they think are cool and want to take credit for. And that's what they do. So they stick them in. It's like sticking a cherry into the middle of a pumpkin pie, and they'll just stick it in, slap it in. But thank you, Steve. Very good.
Very good. Sounds good. And until we talk again, I wish you good health. I hope you recover expediently from whatever they sprayed.
Natural immunity goes a long way. And each time they've hit me with these spray trails, low level buzzing the homes, first time lasted a month. I was out for over a month. I couldn't even crawl off the couch. And then it got less and less. So this is less than any of the other times. So now it's just a matter of the sleeplessness still. That's one of the more enduring symptoms that will come. And the dull headache will still be there. And then the upper respiratory is going to be there. The red eyes, that happens from chemical burn, and the nasal. So that's about all that's happening now. So it's getting better and better, that dull sore throat in the back of the throat. So what's interesting is they're leaving their thumbprint every time they do it. If I video them every time they come by with their low flying, it's pretty telling. We see the spray, even if they have their trolls saying CGI. No, they're showing the trail. We capture footage as evidence that's primary. So each time they do it, the effects get less and less. So they're showing too that natural immunity is the way to go, which the governor of Texas pointed out. Natural immunity is real, and he does acknowledge it. And that's the way to go. That's the way to go. So it's proven. Anyway, thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. So,
awesome. Yeah, it's my pleasure as always. And we'll catch up again soon.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Until then, take care.
Not one single interruption.
Not one this time.
They're going to school. They're in so, Professor Steve. All right, we'll talk again. Take care.
Class dismissed.
All right, take care.